In the quiet hours of the night, a silent crisis is unfolding across the globe, hidden behind the glowing blue light of millions of screens. We live in an era of unprecedented accessibility, where the most primal of human desires can be summoned with a single tap. But beneath the convenience lies a growing shadow. For many, the very tools meant to provide a quick escape are slowly eroding the foundations of their real-world intimacy. This isn't just about a habit, it's about the fundamental wiring of the human brain. We are witnessing a disconnect where the digital fantasy is becoming more vivid, more compelling, and more accessible than the person sleeping right beside us. This phenomenon is robbing men and women of their natural drive, their confidence, and their ability to find joy in the subtle, beautiful nuances of human connection. To understand how to reclaim this lost joy, we must first look into the mechanics of how our minds have been hijacked and why the path back to reality is the most important journey one can take in the modern age. It is a journey from the isolation of the pixelated world back into the warmth of genuine touch, a transition from being a passive observer of others' lives to being the active hero of your own romantic story. Today, we peel back the layers of how modern consumption habits are affecting our most private lives, and more importantly, how we can rebuild the bridge back to authentic, real-world pleasure.
To understand why real-life intimacy begins to feel dull, we have to talk about dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of more. It is the chemical of anticipation and reward. In nature, sexual attraction is a slow-burn process involving sensory input, emotional connection, and physical buildup. However, modern digital content provides a supernormal stimulus. It delivers a massive, unnatural flood of dopamine that the human brain was never evolved to handle. Imagine your brain's dopamine receptors as delicate ears. Normal conversation is like a real-world romantic encounter, but digital content is like a jet engine screaming right next to your ear. To protect itself, the brain does something called down-regulation. It effectively turns down the volume. It reduces the number of receptors so it won't be overwhelmed by the noise. The tragic consequence is that when you return to a real-life partner, who is a normal conversation, you can't hear them anymore. You can't feel the subtle sparks of attraction because your brain is still waiting for the jet engine. You become numb to the natural, slower, and more meaningful signals of human affection. This isn't a failure of character, it's a physiological defense mechanism that has gone haywire in the face of modern technology. Reclaiming joy requires us to stop the noise so the brain can regain its sensitivity to the music of reality. One of the most insidious aspects of digital consumption is the Coolidge effect. This is a biological phenomenon where the brain's interest is renewed only by a new, different partner. In the wild, this would happen rarely. On the internet, it happens every few seconds with a simple scroll. This creates a novelty trap. You aren't just looking for pleasure, you are looking for the next hit of new. This trains your brain to be dissatisfied with the familiar. In a healthy relationship, the familiarity of a partner is a source of deep comfort and escalating intimacy. But for a brain conditioned by thousands of different digital images, familiarity becomes a signal to switch off. You find yourself unable to stay focused or aroused by the person you love because your brain is searching for the variety it has been promised by the screen. This creates a devastating gap between your heart and your physical response. You love your partner, you want to be with them, but your biology has been programmed to crave a constant stream of strangers. Breaking this cycle involves teaching the brain that depth is more rewarding than breadth. It requires a conscious effort to stop the search for the next thing and start reinvesting in the only thing that truly matters, the person standing right in front of you. The damage isn't just psychological, it's physical. Constant, high-intensity self-stimulation creates a sensory threshold that a real human body simply cannot match. This is often referred to as death grip syndrome, or PIED,
porn-induced erectile dysfunction. When a person becomes accustomed to a specific high-pressure or high-speed physical sensation, the gentle touch of a partner feels like nothing at all. The nerves have been conditioned to respond only to extreme force. This leads to a terrifying feedback loop. During intimacy, the person realizes they aren't feeling enough, which causes anxiety. That anxiety then triggers the release of adrenaline, which is the enemy of arousal. The physical body shuts down, not because it's broken, but because it's been over-calibrated for an artificial environment. This physical disconnect often leads to deep embarrassment and a withdrawal from sex altogether, as the individual begins to view real-life encounters as a source of performance anxiety rather than pleasure. Reclaiming joy means allowing the physical body to rest. It means abstaining from artificial stimulation long enough for the peripheral nervous system to reset its sensitivity, allowing a simple touch or a kiss to feel electric once again. It is about moving from high-pressure isolation back to low-pressure, high-sensation connection. Digital content presents a world that is curated, edited, and physically impossible. It filters out the human parts of sex, the awkward breaths, the imperfections, the emotions, and the slow pace. When we consume these images daily, we subconsciously build a standard that real life can never meet. We start comparing our partners and even ourselves to these digital avatars. This comparison trap kills the most vital ingredient of real sex, presence. Instead of being in the moment, you are in your head, judging the lighting, the angles, or the performance. You are no longer experiencing a person, you are measuring a product. This objectification isn't just harmful to the partner, it's a prison for the user. It prevents you from seeing the beauty in a real body's curves, the sincerity in a lover's eyes, and the unique rhythm of a shared experience. Real joy is found in the flaws, the parts that make us human. To heal, we must delete the digital blueprint of what we think sex should look like and rediscover what it actually feels like. It is about shifting from a visual, judgmental mindset to a felt, experiential one, where the goal isn't a perfect performance, but a perfect connection. Perhaps the most destructive part of the struggle is the secrecy. The habit often becomes a hidden world, a source of private shame that creates a wall between you and the people you love. You might find yourself withdrawing from social interactions, feeling less than or like a fraud. This is the shame cycle. The more you feel bad about the habit, the more you use the habit to numb the bad feelings. This isolation is where the addiction thrives. It convinces you that you are alone, that you are weird, and that no one would understand. But this secrecy is a poison for intimacy. Intimacy requires vulnerability, the ability to be seen fully for who you are. When you are hiding a significant part of your life, you can never truly feel close to someone else. You are always holding something back. Reclaiming your joy requires breaking the silence. Whether it's through a support group, a therapist, or a trusted partner, bringing the struggle into the light is the first step toward dissolving the shame. When you stop hiding, the power of the habit begins to wither, and for the first time in a long time, you can look your partner and yourself in the eye without flinching. Recovery begins with awareness. Many people don't even realize they have a problem until they try to stop. You might notice brain fog, a general lack of focus and motivation. You might find that your libido for real people has vanished, yet you still feel an intense urge to browse digital content. This is the hallmark of a hijacked reward system. You may experience the flatline, a period during recovery where you feel no sexual desire at all. This can be terrifying, but it's actually a sign of healing. It's your brain's way of rebooting, clearing out the old, overstimulated pathways to make room for new, healthy ones. Recognizing these symptoms as biological markers rather than personal failures is crucial. It changes the narrative from "I am a bad person" to "my brain is healing." If you find yourself unable to enjoy a sunset, a good meal, or a touch from a partner without thinking about your next digital fix, it's time to acknowledge the grip the habit has on you. This awareness is the spark that lights the path to freedom. It is the moment you decide that you are no longer willing to settle for a pixelated imitation of life when the real world is waiting to be felt. To truly heal, the brain needs a reboot. In the recovery community, this is often called the 90-day reset. It involves a total abstinence from all artificial sexual stimuli. Why 90 days? Because that is roughly the time it takes for the brain's neurochemistry to significantly shift. During this time, the delta phos-B protein, which acts as a molecular switch for addiction, begins to degrade. Your dopamine receptors start to multiply and become sensitive again. The first few weeks are often the hardest. You will face cravings, mood swings, and the urge to return to the familiar comfort of the screen. But if you hold on, something miraculous happens. The fog begins to lift. You start to notice the beauty of the world again. You find yourself having more energy, better eye contact, and a renewed sense of confidence. You aren't just giving something up, you are gaining your life back. The reset isn't a punishment, it's a detox. It's about giving your nervous system the space it needs to remember how to function without an artificial engine. It is the most challenging yet rewarding investment you can make in your own happiness and your future relationships. As the brain heals, you must actively participate in rewiring. This means leaning into real-world sensory experiences. Spend time in nature, engage in physical exercise, and practice mindfulness. These activities help your brain learn to find pleasure in things that are slow and steady. In the bedroom, this means shifting the focus from climax to connection. Practice sensate focus, touching and being touched without the goal of sex. This lowers the pressure and allows your nervous system to rediscover the subtle electricity of skin-on-skin contact. You are teaching your brain that intimacy is a dialogue, not a monologue. You are learning to listen to your partner's body and your own. This phase is about patience. You might not feel a spark immediately, and that's okay. You are rebuilding a bridge that has been broken for a long time. Trust the process. As you move away from the high-octane digital world, your capacity for genuine, deep, and soul-stirring pleasure will return. You will find that a simple look from across the room or a handheld during a walk becomes more exciting than any video ever was. You are moving from a state of being stimulated to a state of being alive. The ultimate goal of this journey is not just the absence of a habit, but the presence of true intimacy. This requires vulnerability. If you have a partner, this is the time to involve them. It might be the hardest conversation you'll ever have, but it's also the most healing. When you say, "I've been struggling and I want to be more present with you," you are inviting them into your world. You are trading the safety of your secret for the strength of a shared bond. True intimacy is intimacy. It is being seen in your struggle and loved anyway. This honesty creates a foundation of trust that makes sex infinitely better. When you no longer have anything to hide, the mental barriers to arousal vanish. You can finally let go. Sex becomes an expression of love and connection rather than an escape from stress or boredom. You'll find that the emotional depth of real-life intimacy provides a high that digital content can never replicate, a sense of being truly known, truly wanted, and truly home. This is the joy that was stolen, and this is the joy that you are now reclaiming, one honest word at a time. As you reach the later stages of your recovery, you will notice a profound shift in your self-perception. You are no longer a slave to an impulse. You have regained your agency, your power to choose. This often manifests as a return of natural physical signs like morning wood or spontaneous attraction to your partner. Your brain fog clears, replaced by a sharp, motivated mind. You start to feel like the protagonist of your own life again. This is the return of the hero. You have faced the dragons of the digital age and emerged stronger. Your relationships improve because you were actually there when you were with people. You listen better, you care more, and you are more resilient. The confidence that comes from self-mastery is far more attractive than any physical attribute. You realize that the joy you lost wasn't just about sex, it was about your connection to life itself. By choosing reality over fantasy, you have unlocked a version of yourself that is capable of deep love, sustained focus, and genuine happiness. You have proven to yourself that you are stronger than a dopamine hit, and that realization is the most powerful aphrodisiac in the world. The journey from the digital shadow back into the light of real-world joy is not a straight line. There will be setbacks, and there will be days when the old habits call out to you. But remember, every time you choose reality, you are healing. Every time you choose your partner over a screen, you are building a legacy of true intimacy. The pixels may offer a temporary thrill, but they will never offer a hand to hold, a shoulder to cry on, or a heart that beats in sync with yours. You deserve a life filled with authentic pleasure and deep connection. You deserve to feel the full spectrum of human emotion without a filter. Reclaiming your joy is an act of rebellion against a world that wants to keep you distracted and numb. It is an act of self-love. So take the first step today. Put down the device, look into the eyes of the people you love, and step back into the world. The warmth, the thrill, and the beauty of real life are waiting for you. It's time to stop watching and start living. Your story is far more interesting than anything on a screen. Go out and live it. The journey back to yourself starts now, and the destination, a life of genuine, unfiltered joy, is worth every single step.